So like a Jack in the Box? Hello and welcome to Anxious at Bedtime, a bedtime podcast, or whenever.
We are your co-hosts. My name is Monica.
I'm Cash, and together we are Anxious at Bedtime.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
So we do have something new to discuss. My little brother and my little cousin, Billy and Aaron, just graduated high school.
Oh, hell yeah, they did. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah,
Good
congrats.
job. We're proud of you.
Good job.
Now they're going to go on and hopefully make some money and shit.
Mm-hmm. Buy us a house. I'm just kidding.
That'd be cool. I like houses, especially free houses. Those are dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have really anything new.
No?
The only thing I got is really there's an abundance more of the UFO and the UAV appearances. A lot more of those conspiracies, a lot of different sightings of orbs and shit like that, and a lot more government agencies and whistleblowers from the government that are saying, yeah, there's different dimensional beings and different aliens from, different places, whatever. It is what it is. So, I mean, there's a lot more of that shit, which is pretty interesting.
It is.
Unless, they're just saying that shit and what are they hiding?
That's fair.
I want to know that, too. Similar like the Tartaria. I don't think I'm saying that right. Yeah, I think it is Tartaria, where they think there's, like, old Egypt and, like, a bunch of shit buried under New York and the rest of the U.S. Like, there's a lot more shit where people are finding stuff underground, and, like, it is wild.
I do kind of remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, there's a shit ton more videos coming out of people finding different tunnels and different things connecting under the metropolis cities. It's pretty fucking cool, but I mean, it used to be cheese storage is what they're saying, but what is it now?
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm intrigued.
Me too.
But no, nothing really new at all.
I did want to also touch on, because we were supposed to discuss it and we never did, we survived the end of the world.
Oh, yeah, we did. Seven lied to us.
Mm-hmm.
Or he was talking about a different dimension or
maybe
timeline. I don't know.
So, quick overview. The last part of our Ouija series that we were supposed to do, there's this woman on TikTok that said for the past, 13 years, her and her husband have been talking to some sort of spirit or entity through a Ouija board. And it called itself Seven, and it told her that the world for us was supposed to end May 27th, 2025.
Yeah, I believe that was it.
Yeah, and so there was a bunch of weird stuff. You can look into it if you want. Obviously, it's not that important now because it didn't happen.
The weirdest thing is there was tons of different sources publishing all of that, like all that information. There was like CNN and different news articles.
Yeah.
Mostly just online, but there was a lot of different people sharing this shit about her and Seven. It was crazy.
It was crazy.
And then just nothing.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
Thankfully.
But nothing.
Nothing.
But yeah, that's a fun rabbit hole to fall down if you want to.
There was a lot of, there were some volcano eruptions, tornadoes, earthquakes. There's a lot of that shit, but I mean, isn't that every summer?
That's fair. And a lot of the things that Seven said, it was very weird and very cryptic, and so it would say things in other languages and backwards that the girl or her husband didn't speak.
And then they had to decipher, yeah.
Yeah. And so, I don't know, it was just a lot of cool stuff, but it was really weird. Last I checked, she hadn't posted anything since the 27th.
You should check right now before you say that.
I should. Okay, hold on. Okay, so that's weird. So she changed her username back. It was Save7. Now it's her original username, and her account's private, and I'm no longer following her. Let me check the podcast account.
She kicked everybody off?
I kind of think so.
That'd be wild. She's like, look, don't fuck with me. Don't at me.
Yeah. Which would be sad because, it was something telling her, like, hey, this shit's happening.
And some people understand that it's just,
Yeah.
for educational purposes only.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to, say some crazy out-of-pocket shit to her.
No, of course not. So, yeah, I'm still following her on the podcast account, but she deleted all of her videos. So that's sad. People are probably being assholes to her.
Probably. People are fucking rude.
Yeah.
Ruthless. Hella mean.
Hella.
Especially on the internet.
Yeah, they are.
That's
It's
all right,
crazy. Not everybody though. Not you guys. You guys are great. We posted our haunted dolls episode last week,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
we did.
one of our biggest fans gave us a haunted looking doll named Shirley.
Yeah, it was my Gma.
It was
Let's not lie.
Gma.
Thanks, Gma. We got that haunted doll in here while we record.
Yeah, she's sitting behind me.
She's been pretty cool so far. Her feet are backwards, dude. It's wild.
They are, yeah. The cats, I think, are scared of her though. The night we got home, we put her in the hallway, and Kevin was like freaked out, just standing at the end of the hallway by the living room and looking down, staring at where she was.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So far, nothing to report on.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But all right, let's jump into a scenario for this episode.
All right, what's that?
Imagine you're a beaver.
I got called that a lot as a kid. I got big front teeth.
You have cute front teeth.
They're big.
Anyway, imagine you're a beaver. You're out there living your best dam building life, gnawing trees, flooding fields, just vibing.
Damn right.
Mm-hmm. The next thing you know, you're in a wooden box with a parachute strapped to it, falling out of a plane over the Idaho backcountry.
How am I going to know? I'm in a wooden box. I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm at. I'm a beaver.
That's fair. So imagine you're in a box just falling. I'm sure you can feel
The
that.
sensation of falling, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But I'm a beaver. Have I ever felt that before? We'll see. I'm closing my eyes. Let's see if I can get there.
No, this isn't a fever dream. It's
It is.
history.
Oh, they airdrop fucking beavers?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck, that's rude.
And like we said, you're listening to Anxious at Bedtime, the podcast where bedtime stories come with ghosts, cryptids, and occasional government-sanctioned animal airdrops.
Yeah, beaver dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Drop them beavers.
Drop them.
How many casualties?
We'll get there.
Oh, shit.
Tonight's mini episode is about something that actually happened. No ghosts this time. No aliens, no portals. Just a whole lot of confused beavers falling from the sky.
I'd be fucking confused as a human with a bunch of flying beavers.
This is the true story of when Idaho parachuted beavers into the wilderness.
Holy shit, is that what the cartoon Angry Beavers is based on? Those fucking guys, they were launched, airdropped into a random ass fucking spot and they're trying to make a life?
It might be.
And that's why they're so goddamn angry.
It could be.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I gotta Google that.
Google it right now.
Keep her going.
Okay. After World War II ended, people were looking to start a slower-paced life surrounded by beautiful nature. That's how people turned their sights on McCall, Idaho. The town was ideal not just because it was far removed from cities, but it also was surrounded by forest, mountains, and the Payette Lake.
I don't think so. These guys are from way out of town, Oregon.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think so, but
Maybe. Oregon and Idaho are pretty close.
yeah, but that's still a different state, and it's not quite the state of Jefferson, so
Maybe. But McCall, Idaho. It was a great place for outdoor activities, and so people flocked. It had a lot to offer potential residents, and understandably, after fighting in a war and seeing all of that destruction and everything that goes on with that, a calm life with fishing and hiking sounded amazing.
Yeah, it does. Not the fishing part, because I'm not that kind of guy.
I think you'd love it.
I like some kind of hiking. That's all right. It's not bad. But fishing, not for me.
But McCall was previously a small logging and mining town, so you can imagine that not everyone was excited about the newcomers. The Beavers, who'd been there long before real estate developers arrived, were suddenly public enemy number one. The Beavers almost immediately said, "All right then, it's personal now." They started building dams in people's yards, which resulted in their farmland being flooded, and the Beavers even repeatedly did things like chew down newly planted trees.
Oh, yeah, they got that fuck you energy.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about beavers until I researched this. They very much are, like, sassy. Like, they did shit with intent.
Yeah, they're petty as fuck.
Yeah.
They remember shit and they'll get at you, bro. They're fucking mean.
That's cute. I like it.
It's good shit, right?
Mm-hmm. So, people did what they do best, and they decided the creatures that already lived there were a nuisance and they needed to be removed. Luckily for the beavers, people understood how crucial they are to the environment, because in the 1800s, beavers were hunted so often for their pelts that they nearly went extinct.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was there.
Oh, I assumed from that museum we went to in Washington. Yeah, they talked about it.
Well, I mean, I could know some history without having to have gone to a museum.
Well, that too.
I did actually know. I was just being a little facetious.
Anyway.
All right.
Where am I? But because of that, people already knew to be more careful with beavers. That's why they brought in a man to figure out a safe way to remove the beavers.
And fucking lunch then sons of guns.
Yeah, he did. That man was named Elmo Heter. Heter was a game warden and pilot with the Idaho Department of Fish and Game.
I thought his name would have been like Elmer Fudd.
You'd think, yeah.
Launching
but no.
beavers. Silly beavers.
But this man reminded me so much of Poppy. It was cracking me up so bad.
Shit.
Yeah, because he was faced with a problem and he found the most out of pocket, out of the box way to solve it. Hilarious.
Fucking put them in boxes and fly them and drop them in random spots that aren't my problem.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was so fucking funny.
That is pretty funny.
Instead of harming any animals, Heter came up with a plan to move the beavers to a remote part of Idaho where they could have privacy away from humans and go on to live long, prosperous lives.
Well, he said instead of harming them, he fucking airdropped them in crates.
Wait.
Okay.
But getting the beavers there was the hard part. As you can imagine, packing up a bunch of beavers and relocating them isn't cheap or easy, so Heter had to find a cost-effective way that would be safe for the beavers as much as the humans transporting them.
I'm waiting.
But first, he had to decide on a location.
I'm going to guess they fucking airdrop them.
He needed somewhere remote, obviously, but also somewhere with plenty of water that doesn't already have a large population of beavers, because you don't want to, turf wars and all that.
Shit. Yeah, no, I know. Beavers are about it. You discovered that.
I did. So that's how he landed on the Chamberlain Basin in central Idaho. It's up by Stanley, where all the earthquakes have been.
I know him.
Yeah. It had previously been inhabited by beavers, but that population had significantly declined, so the relocation was also a reintroduction effort that benefited the basin and repopulated that area.
They couldn't set them down.
Hold on.
Okay.
Now, back to getting the beavers out there. Traditionally, beavers would be transported in trucks to as close as the area as possible. In a lot of areas, but especially this one, there's no roads.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah.
They want them very remote.
Yeah. So you'd get it as close, like basically to the end of the road. And then from there, you would pack them onto mules, and the mules would carry them the rest of the way, or horses.
Yeah, it sounds more logical than fucking airdropping a bunch of beavers.
Okay, but there's a reason for it. This specific area was so far away that Heter worried about the beavers overheating in the backs of the trucks because it would be such a long drive to the end of that road. And so, like previous times when people had transported them this way, they died of heat stroke because they're beavers.
Why not rent just like a fucking giant... what year was this?
1948.
Yeah, I'm way ahead in the future. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Never mind. Still, airdropping beavers is fucked up, dude. Imagine you read a news article, somebody airdropped a bunch of fucking beavers yesterday. You'd be like, who the fuck and why? People would be outraged. But go ahead. I digress.
Okay, yeah, we'll discuss that more at the end. But yeah, so Heter didn't want these beavers overheating and dying. Plus, apparently beavers and like mules don't get along.
Yeah, the fucking mules, they know that they're petty. I
Yeah.
don't fucking know that. Anyways, you mean at the end of this, I'm going to regret my words because they airdropped a bunch of beavers recently?
I'm not saying... No, there's nothing recent.
Okay, keep going then.
Okay.
I was worried for a second, dude. For a second there.
So Heter needed to find another way because that long drive wouldn't work, okay? They're trying to keep beavers as safe as possible. That's when the chaotic idea hit him. There were some supplies left over from the war. Like I said, this is all...
Helicopters.
No,
Oh,
well,
shit.
maybe. But this is like 3 years after the war ended.
Yeah.
There were some parachutes left over.
Crates for ammo, parachutes,
He was like, you know what?
helicopters.
What if we parachute the beavers into the basin? And so that's exactly what he decided to do.
Sounds like it.
Elmo first planned to use like woven baskets almost.
Yeah, but the beavers could get out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why he wanted, because when it landed, then they could just gnaw their way out. But he got scared. What if they do that when it's still in the air? That's dangerous. So that was out.
raining beavers. Ah, shit.
Yeah, oh shit. So Elmo himself invented a special wooden crate complete with a lid that would pop open on impact.
So like a Jack in the Box.
Yeah, with the beaver.
Fuck, that's
But
even more. They fucking went spring loaded, shot back out.
hold
Oh
on,
my god.
it gets worse.
I'll wait.
Before he airdropped a whole beaver battalion, he needed a test subject.
Oh my god.
Enter Geronimo, the world's first skydiving beaver. Geronimo made several test jumps.
At least he didn't fucking just, unalive him the first run.
Yeah, no, he
good.
practiced.
But he was like, that one's fucked up. And he kept going
And he kept going.
on the same beaver.
On the same.
At least he didn't fuck up a bunch of them, I suppose.
He would. I'm laughing because it worked, okay? Geronimo's safe. It's not. Anyway, so he would throw Geronimo's box out of the plane, the parachute would deploy, and then Geronimo would land safely and he'd pop out the box. But then every time, as soon as he exited the box, he was greeted by a human that would put him back into the box and he'd go back up on the plane, and they repeated it a few times to make sure it was safe.
Okay, so it was over trial.
Yeah.
They should have tried it with not a live beaver.
I hope they did.
5 times.
I hope they did.
And then they really only would have needed Geronimo for I don't know, 2.
Yeah. They might have tried it with other things first. I don't know. But
Maybe a couple of eggs. I feel like those would have been.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if they didn't fucking.
Did you ever do that in high school where you had to create you had to wrap an egg in protective stuff so that if it dropped from 30 feet, it was safe and then you got an A?
No.
Oh.
No, I didn't.
Was that just a my small school thing?
I don't know, maybe. Maybe I was sick on that day.
Maybe. Let me know if you guys did that at school, because that was a big part of our grade, was making sure your egg didn't crack.
What class was that? Science?
Yeah, science. Anyway, once Heter decided that the design was perfect, he loaded up 76 beavers and launched them in the most bizarre relocation plan in Idaho history.
I think that's world history. Well, maybe not world history, but hopefully fucking U.S. history. How else have they fucking launched beavers?
I don't know.
Or other animals? Dude, I want to hear these stories. You got to fucking Google that after.
I saw a zebra the other day was just transported by helicopter.
Yeah, helicopter, yeah. But that was different.
Yeah.
That wasn't 76 fucking zebra in a box.
They were all in their own box.
Yeah, 76 boxes of zebras.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody fucking airdrop 76 boxes of zebras in your neighborhood.
Yeah, okay.
Even beavers, that's crazy.
But this wasn't in somebody's neighborhood. This was in the remote wilderness.
Either way, 76 fucking boxes of any wild animal is crazy to drop in somebody's neighborhood.
Anyway.
Or anywhere, really.
So it worked. It did.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one beaver did manage to escape his box before landing, and he passed away.
Oh, one.
But 75 of the 76 survived.
That's not too bad. That's pretty good. Pretty good rate.
Yeah. There's footage of the entire process, but my favorite part is watching them leave the boxes. And you could they're so smart. They just ran straight for the water.
Oh yeah, they were like, "Fuck these guys! They kidnapped us. Swim,
yeah. Swim!" And they they didn't waste any time. They started their new lives.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But don't think that Heter forgot about Geronimo.
Did he launch Geronimo all on his own?
Yeah. Well, kind of. Because Geronimo was such a crucial part of the mission, he got extra rewards. Geronimo was dropped in his own little area of the river with not 1, not 2, but 3 lady beavers.
What if he was a gay beaver?
Then hopefully he found some boy beavers.
He had some best friends.
Yeah, some good friends.
Yeah, good for you, Geronimo.
But Geronimo lived out his days in the Idaho back country, presumably telling tall tales to the local elk.
Not fucking tall tales. Those shits were true. That dude took 94 skydiving lessons before they finally let him stop and just be a normal beaver.
Yeah.
Hopefully they didn't go kidnap him for movies too.
Hopefully. But Elmo Heter documented the entire operation in a 1950 article for the Idaho Sunday Statesman. If I can find it again and remember, I will try to post that on our social media. And then, decades later, the Idaho Fish and Game rediscovered the archival footage of the drops, tucked away in a canister labeled "Fur for the Future."
Why wouldn't they just put what it really was? That's fucked up. It's part of history.
Yeah.
They were embarrassed.
A big part, maybe.
They were like, dude, let's not fucking tell people that we airdropped a bunch of beavers. And then nowadays, that has a totally different fucking meaning. to airdrop a bunch of beavers.
Oh, yeah, it does.
It
Oh, yeah, it
does.
does. Oh, shit.
Yeah, so maybe they knew something about the future. And they
Maybe.
didn't want to, be assumed.
To this day, Elmo W. Heter remains a legend.
He does.
He looked at a beaver problem, saw an airplane solution, and executed a mission so wild it sounds like a fever dream.
Dude, I couldn't imagine telling all my friends, what'd you do for work
Right?
today? I pushed 76 fucking beavers out of an airplane. They'd be like, what?
Yeah, what are you
Especially
talking
if I've
about?
been gone for a few months testing all this shit and didn't
Yeah.
even tell them. Because back then they didn't even have cell phones.
No, they
Or
didn't.
real phones, really. Like, you couldn't just call somebody willy-nilly like that. Like, you had to see a person. So they're like, no, you didn't. And you're showing them you pull out a fucking tube that says fur for later. And they're like, whoa, my guy. And you're like, no. Sit down in this dimly lit, dingy place and watch this reel.
Watch it.
10 out of 10. I'd do it. I want to be this guy's friend.
Yeah, it's iconic work for sure. And I know it sounds so scary, but Heter really did do his due diligence to make sure that it was as safe as possible. He tested, he ran through different options. Like,
One beaver.
yeah, he had him do a lot of tests. Like I said, he made sure, like, the trucks, this isn't going to work. So what else could we do? A lot of people would be like, I don't care, stick them on the truck.
Yeah, and that poor beaver, he was like, I'm going to get away. And there was another human like, the fuck you are.
I like to think that he popped out of there and was like, do it again.
Oh, yeah, he was just a fucking adrenaline junkie beaver.
Yeah.
Probably he didn't have a heart attack.
Yeah. So
And he did it like 94 times or something like that, he said.
I didn't say 94. I just said repeatedly.
Something like that. So, yeah, he fucking popped out of the box and he's like, shit, there's Paul. Paul, let's go again. Let's go.
Yeah. So, basically, Heter did his best to make sure it really was safe because a lot of people I don't think would have gone through any of those measures. And it's shitty that the beavers had to be moved in the first place.
Yeah.
But he found a great spot. And if I remember right, it's still like a preserved area today. I think there's no roads up into it or anything.
Oh, like an animal preservation?
Yeah. So I do wonder if you go out there, if it's just like infested with beavers as far as the eye
I wonder
can
if
see.
they got a fucking Geronimo statue.
They should. Stature.
I wonder if they got a fucking Geronimo statue. Hopefully.
Hopefully they
I don't
should.
know about a stature, but the statue should work.
I want a Geronimo statue. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. You got the stature of Geronimo.
Oh, goodness.
Angry little beaver.
Okay. Before we go, let's take a second to give beavers their flowers.
The fuck does that mean?
Like, give them their, like, applause, their kudos.
Oh.
Beavers...
Oh, shit. Okay.
Beavers aren't just quirky little rodents with great teeth and a fuck you attitude. They're keystone species. That was hard to say.
You say they're keystone species?
Yeah.
Oh, Keystone like the beer? Keystone, you're so smooth. Sponsor me.
Meaning their presence shapes entire ecosystems.
Oh, absolutely.
Their dams slow down water, prevent erosion, recharge groundwater, and create wetland habitats that support fish, birds, frogs, and other wildlife.
Damn right.
In a world with droughts, wildfires, and habitat loss, beavers are natural climate fighters. They do the work of civil engineers without a single degree or permit. And truth is, the whole reason they had to be parachuted in the first place, because of us. Human expansion pushed them out, and then we needed them back to fix the damage. So, if you ever see a beaver doing its thing, maybe give it a thank you. It's probably just out there trying to save the planet the only way it knows how, one stick at a time.
Now, did you write this because you like the Oregon Ducks? OSU kind of fan.
I don't like the Oregon Ducks.
Or-
No.
Did you write this because you like the OSU, the Beavers?
That's not why I wrote
Was
it.
that part of was that an influence?
It
of
might
this-
have been a
this-
little subconscious influence, yeah.
But
But-
I felt like it.
I just felt bad that they had to be kicked out of their homes.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Because, like, they're already there. When people started moving in, they couldn't have gone not there. Yeah.
As fucked up as it is, that's the American way.
I know. That's why I said people did what they do best. But at least, like I said, the right guy was put in charge of the job.
And he gave them a little fucking thrill on their way out of their home.
Mm-hmm.
I would be so fucking livid, though,
Yeah.
if I took a nap and woke up and somebody fucking dropped me in a random ass place, I'd be like, who the fuck? And I'd go outside. I just made you watch Freddy Got Fingered. You saw his dad when he found out he was in Pakistan. You see how fucking mad he got?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, imagine those beavers now.
That's fair.
Like,
yeah.
who in the fuck? Freddy! Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I do want to watch the show Angry Beavers very badly.
Yeah, it changes it a little bit, huh?
Well, no, I just loved that show as a kid. I did. That show was the shit.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh.
But yeah, like I said, there's footage of almost the entire process. So if you want to find that, it's so entertaining. And it's wild because the people that are out there like capturing the beavers to put them into the boxes, there's no, like you can tell OSHA did not exist. There's no gloves. Nobody's wearing any sort of protective gear, goggles, helmets, like nothing. They're just out there in their freaking clothes, grabbing beavers out of the water, sticking them in boxes.
You can tell PETA didn't exist.
Yeah. Shit.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine nowadays somebody fucking put a bunch of beavers in boxes and tried to throw them out of an airplane.
Yeah.
You're like, no, it's a spring-loaded box. It's fine. I tested it with that beaver over there like 12 times.
He's fine.
You imagine?
Oh. I kind of want a Geronimo tattoo.
Of the fucking beaver?
Of the beaver.
Now, if any of our fans are out there fucking pushing animals or people out of airplanes and got a wild story to tell, fucking tell us.
Yeah. I mean, please don't be pushing animals out of airplanes.
If it's your job, dude, I mean, it's like legit above board. I still want to hear about it because if they're doing that shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And like if you're a skydiving instructor or like a tandem jumper, yeah, I still want to hear about that shit. Like those are fun stories. Like the first time somebody gets jumped out of an airplane, you got me fucked up. You have any idea the kind of things that are going to come out of my mouth? Somebody strapped to my back makes me jump out of an airplane. Yeah. Oh, my wife's writing a book on some shit I've said to people, and that thing would be filled by the time I hit the ground.
Yeah, it would.
Those fucking beavers. All right, now.
Yeah, what a story.
Other than that, I ain't got shit. That's crazy.
I just don't know what to say. The story is so wild to me. I had so much fun learning about it. But next week, we're back to paranormal.
We think.
Yeah, I don't know. I change it every day. So if you or somebody you know has had a brush with the paranormal and you would like to have that story read on the podcast, please email it to...
Or if your family helped throw those fucking beavers overboard out of that plane, tell us your fucking family member's story, what they told you.
And please email that story to anxiousatbedtimepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on social media. We have a TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Threads. I think that's all of it.
The world can be a scary place when you're a simple beaver just trying to chomp on some wood and then suddenly you wake up in a fucking box and you get airdropped in some random place in Idaho. You ever been to Idaho, that place? The people are all right, but the place is mid. But we're probably fine.
We're probably fine.
We're probably fine now.
Sleep tight.
Sleep tight.